Well, alright. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so...
All right, let's go, champ. Welcome back to the Party with Strategy podcast. I got two absolute legends sitting here at this table. Two of the gods. Arizona's finest. I knew I liked you when we spoke and you brought up the Jesse White tumblers.
Oh my God!
I knew that we were going to get along.
Yeah, I had to G-check you real quick because I was like, you're from Chicago. If you're from Chicago, you heard the Jesse White tumblers. Should we explain to people who the Jesse White tumblers are?
Yeah, I want to hear your explanation of the Jesse White tumblers.
So I went to I grew up in Chicago Heights. It's a south suburb, and let's just say that it's very culturally rich where I grew up, and we didn't have a ton of like extracurricular things at my high school, so like pretty much every couple months or every year they would bring in these kids called the Jesse White tumblers, and they're basically these kids from the hood that do like these like exceptional backflips and all this shit, and they're trying to like tumble their way out of the hood or whatever. So right, so
exactly
it's like
what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way I could put it, and I mean it's impressive. They'll go like the length of the gym and just like 15,
insane gymnastics.
Yeah, so
inspiring.
like if
just little like 7-year-old kids flying through the air doing quadruple backflips and shit.
I thought you guys were about to start talking about a cup.
No,
like a fucking
tumbler,
Stanley.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to know about the tumbler. And now I'm like, oh wait, I was ready to see this cup.
No, yeah, it's just young black kids doing incredible things with their bodies.
Nice.
Yeah, and if you're from Chicago, like at least the South Side, I didn't know if because you're from the North Side, right? So I was like, they got Jesse White tumblers out in the North Side, bro. What's going on?
They didn't bring them into our schools, but they definitely. I've been to a lot of street fests and events in the city where they brought the Jesse White tumblers out and they showed out. But yeah, thank you for joining me, Slippy, Fashion. Mm-hmm. You're back in Arizona.
Back.
We got to hear your story.
This is the first time anyone's we haven't really announced it, right?
I know. Yeah, I know. I've some people know, but a lot of people don't know.
If you don't know, now you know.
If you don't know, now you know.
Can I crack this drink?
Yeah, crack that open. Let's go, champ. A little long drink.
It's a long drink.
Last time,
my bad. Didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
The last time we did a pod together, it was the Strategy and Dolo show at Dolo's crib. Remember?
Oh my God, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, for the Club Killers, I think.
Where was that at? That was in the North Side?
That was the North Side, yeah, Avondale.
Okay. Yeah.
I still live there.
Okay.
Dolo's
Same spot?
in Houston, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Damn, I remember that. I almost forgot about it until you brought it up. Shit.
Good times.
It was.
So how's it feel to be back?
It's cool. It's chilling. Fine gentleman sitting next to me. Made it happen, so, yeah.
That's sick. I mean, I would be excited if I were you. I'm a big fan of Arizona. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Thinking about just keeping the cats here and fucking
There you go.
squatting in this Airbnb we got until we get kicked out.
There we go.
If it was Chicago, we'd fucking own it in a couple months.
Oh, for
but
sure.
In Arizona, I think the rights are a little.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I wouldn't play around in Arizona. I'm just saying. Come for you.
But yeah, no, happy to be back. And yeah, it's a little different. But different good. Like, one of the things I noticed was, like 3 years, I moved to LA in 2009, and I basically saw like Old Town and like Phoenix flourish 3 years later. And I was like, how come y'all weren't doing this shit 3 years ago? Maybe you would have never left. But, I had my reasons for leaving it when I did, and, spent 15 years out there, and yeah, now we're back, and just like we never left.
Yeah, and just so you know, I had Cutswell on the pod, and he did tell the story about taking your gig, which he said that you told the story on a different pod. It's like a big back and forth, but...
I mean, that was probably years ago. Yeah. But he did. He came in, tried to swoop in, and then he got canned a week later.
Dang.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, what are you going to do? It's young and dumb.
Are you trying to talk some shit right now? I'm trying to get it going in here.
We all were.
If anyone's watching, they know they saw Cuts. Now they see him Fashion. I feel like he needs to get caught up.
It's all good. Hey, he was a hungry individual.
He still is.
Yeah. But, back then it was very cutthroat. Relationships ended back then because of that venue.
What was it called?
I don't even remember now.
Like Next?
Next.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was dude.
Where was that? It was
Literally
on this
right down
block
the
over
street.
here?
No, across the other side.
Yeah.
By Wasted Grain and shit?
No, even
further
like
over,
by Rock Bar and like some of the other stuff, like where you get like turquoise necklaces and shit over there. You know what I'm
on
talking
the
about?
west side of Scottsdale Road.
Oh,
Yeah.
where fucking Not My First Rodeo and all that is going.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy. Shoot. So we go back to Power 92 days.
Yep.
I used to do
In the OG building.
the Flava unit. Earth was driving the Flava unit.
Flavor unit, man. I used to
Yeah.
drive that fucking piece of shit ice cream truck around 120-degree weather and just pray that it didn't break down.
Like the radio media team or like the street team or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so I did this show with the late great DJ Earth. They didn't like do ratings from 2 to 5 in the morning, and like back then it was like really, it was like the Eminem. Nobody listens to techno vibes, right? And so they had these hours from 2 to 5, and they're like, you guys can do whatever you want. So we're in there just like ripping drum and bass, and he would always call up and be like, yeah, dude, when he's driving home from the club, and we're like, are you messing with us? But he was always on the same frequency.
That's
and then
sick.
I saw him DJing at Next all the time back in the day.
Yeah. Crazy times.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. And you were on the radio. I remember you, from what I remember, anything pre-2020 just seems like a movie I watched or something. Like when I think back to it,
Yeah.
I can't decide if it was like something that I actually went through or if it's like something I watched on TV. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember you told us your whole story coming up in AZ, doing radio and all that, and then AM invited you out to LA, and then
Yeah.
you went out there and obviously took over and fucking king of the scene.
I did my part as much as I could.
I think you're
LA's a
still
big
doing
place.
it.
LA's a big place.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have put their foot in there, so I did what I could. But yeah, I have some stories. There's some, obviously like a lot of good memories, and but yeah, I made my mark in LA.
You escaped at the right time, I'd say.
Yeah. I was even telling my girl, I was like, yo, like, for like the first couple of days, I almost felt really guilty too. Cause I was just like, cause I was just watching my friends go through so much trauma, like with the fires and everything. And I
Yeah.
was just like, dude, we like literally like just watching everything fall apart. And like literally, I know literally 7 people that were completely affected by it, that lost their homes, lost everything, and, just luckily we weren't in the line of fire, but we were 3/4 of a mile from where Runyon was, so we were there. Air quality was still shit, but we wouldn't have had to evacuate, but a lot of people in my building did because of the air quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just
Makes
dipped out
sense.
for a few days, but still, just it's crazy how that all kind of works.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, I just saw a bunch of pictures of like all the pink fire shit that they're putting on all the fires. It's like it's like pictures of like Range Rovers just
Yeah.
like splattered and people's houses splattered. It's wild.
Yeah,
It's nuts.
Yeah.
We're out here in the desert.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of natural disasters out here other than probably.
The haboobs. What about the haboobs?
Yeah, they come and go real fast. I mean, it's kind of gnarly, but
wait, the what?
the haboobs, the like big sandstorms that come in.
They're called haboobs.
Haboob, yep.
It's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
It's a weird thing, but I mean, you just see like a wall of sand just coming or like dust or whatever, and then it's like it just clears and it's gone.
Haboob.
Yeah.
That's when Brendan Fraser comes into the picture.
What?
The mummy.
Oh my God, I missed that one.
He rises, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, in the haboob. Okay.
But I missed the monsoons.
Yeah.
See, I like the monsoons. That's like one of my
Monsoon, that's
favorite
like
things.
some Florida shit.
No, that's here too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like August.
Was it July, August?
Yeah. Gets all hot and rainy and shit and humid.
My favorite part about Arizona is that it never rains. I fucking hate the rain.
I need it every now and then.
I absolutely despise it.
As much as snow.
I would take snow over rain.
You're weird, dude.
Yeah, I'll take the rain.
I hate
Wet.
snow and rain,
Just
bro.
wet. It ruins your day. You don't want to leave. You can't go outside.
Bro, growing up in Chicago, bro, come on, bro. Like those winters, like take a chunk of your soul away. Every single one, like
No, they make you a man. They make you a real man. They teach you how to just go outside when you don't want to, when it's below zero, and you just got to anyways.
That with the South Side that also makes you be a man.
Yeah.
I'm all set.
You're too much of a man.
Thank you.
You're too much man.
I'm sitting here with a couple of men.
Yeah.
This is weird, dude. I like it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Arizona?
My favorite thing about Arizona is absolutely the weather. When I was a younger, more fun guy, it was the women, because I still believe to this day that Arizona has the hottest women on the face of the earth.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't know what makes that happen, but you go to a fucking QT and the woman checking you out is...
Go ahead, because I have a theory too.
It's because most of them aren't from here. They come here from other states. You know, if you think about it, like Arizona State University, you know, so a lot of it is that. Yeah.
My theory is
you guys imported them.
Yeah. Something like that. It's either that or there's something in the cactus.
Yep. I think it's the sunshine, because like there's 330 days of sunshine here, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're constantly going to be wearing less clothing. I mean, I'm just freestyling here, but this is my theory. You know, you're constantly wearing less clothing here. So kind of makes you inclined to work out or maybe take care of yourself a little better. I don't know. So even the ugly chicks are bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I fully believe that. The weather has something to do with it.
Yeah.
You got to stay fit at all times. You don't have a season where you're wearing thick jackets and 2 hoodies and covering everything up.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, I like the seasons. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we live in a place that skips the shitty ones, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love it here. And I fucking... It's been a dream of mine my entire life to be a Arizona snowbird. So this year was the first year of diving into that and seeing if it's actually possible. And it's looking bright.
You're a little young to be a snowbird.
It's looking bright. I'm just saying I'm paving the way.
Yeah.
You know? I'm digging
setting the roots.
The ground.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. My grandparents used to be snowbirds. Yeah.
It's the move.
I'm never
Chicago
going
in the summer, incredible.
I love
Arizona
Chicago
in the winter, incredible.
Yeah. There's nothing like Michigan, you know, in the summer, but you get 2 months of that?
Yeah, it's not much.
And it gets hot, and then everyone starts killing each other and comes out, right?
Those are our seasons. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, that's
absolutely. Like 155 murders in freaking day one. Jesus.
98 degrees, 155 murders.
Yep. There you go. Cool out, Chicago.
Yeah.
But no, you were asking about the how he got out here earlier. We kind of turned the corner on that.
Yeah. You brought him back out.
Yeah. So, well, you know, over here at Hot Chick, I've been trying to, you know, I'm a DJ's DJ, and I just feel like, at least in Arizona, we have so many good DJs that the open format guys from, you know, other states stopped really coming out here, right? Because I think like the local people get to see really good DJs all the time. So I wanted to start bringing in some guys that could rip it, you know, over here and kind of start, you know, bringing that back around. And so Fashion started coming out a couple times and everyone loved him. And I was like, man, you know, if you ever want to come back here, bro. And we started chatting and he was like, you sure, bruh? I'm like, let's get it.
Like,
right? Kind
I
of?
was like, let's talk about it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's crazy? I think because I didn't get to go out a lot, or just by choice. Like I chose not to go out a lot because, you know, when you're constantly traveling or you're constantly like working, just like, dude, on my nights off, like I don't want to go out to clubs. Like, you know, a while back, yeah, but these days not so much. But man, Arizona people, like, you guys don't know how good you have it. There's so many good DJs out here. Like, you guys totally take it for granted. Like, because there's like LA, there's so much trash DJ, and I'm not trying to be a hater, but
hold on. I like this is a hot take. I like this.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever.
I'm not gonna
really
name
heard
names,
this.
but like, there's good DJs in LA too. Don't get me wrong. There's good DJs, but you know, but there's a lot of garbage too.
Are you talking kind of more of like the celebrity DJ, like the crossover, like the influencer become DJ type people? Is that what you were alluring to?
Probably some of those, and you know, I feel like all the really good, like these days, all the really good LA DJs, they're in like the niche spots, and like then the more touristy spots, it's less that. Like the big name spots, it's less. But like you go to like some of the smaller venues, and stuff like shout out to my brother Bossa Nova. Like he does that. He always brings in like good quality DJs to like Mom's Bar, like it's like low bar in Santa Monica. It just goes.
Yeah, big shouts to Bossa Nova. That's the boy.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. So you'll get that, but like the quality of DJ that's in Old Town, like everyone's like great. Like there's so many good DJs that have they come out of Arizona too. Like I'm gonna exclude myself, but
no, you're in there.
But
you're absolutely in there. I think you paved the way for a lot of these
I can't
guys.
remember the last time I heard a shitty Arizona DJ, like legit.
Would you say that you're more inspired out here, being out here, hearing these DJs and shit? Like, does that kind of ignite something in you a little bit?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Since I've been back, I've only heard a handful of DJs that I've like played with. But I do need to get back out and kind of like hit the town a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm always inspired to hear other people play, like regardless of where it is, But yeah, Arizona people, you don't know what you got.
We got you out to Decadence. We got him out to the party.
Yeah.
Came out for a few minutes.
Yeah. Playing that this year.
What? That's a
Calling
big
it now.
festival
Yeah,
out
let's
here.
go.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah. No, we got that.
Yeah, he just played it. He killed it.
Thank you.
Where do they do it?
So they used to do it at a place called Rawhide back in the day, and they switched over to the Phoenix Raceway. And it's I mean, this year was Dead Mouse John Summit, so it's typically the biggest party in Arizona. I think, don't quote me on this, but like something like I think 20,000 tickets or something.
Yeah,
like
it was crazy.
It was nutty. Yeah, my wife is the creative director for the company, and so he got to experience what she does, and kind of see my. And then I chartered a bus and took like 50 of my employees from Hot Chick out there, and shout out to John Romano. He set up a seat for us, and everybody was like, "Dude, this is the coolest night of my life," which gave people a camaraderie over here, and we're all kind of tight and hang out with each other, and it was really nice to do that. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. I want to touch on your background because we talked for a second. You were doing the late night radios.
Yeah.
And I lived in Arizona in 2011. I went to Mesa Community College. I lived with my boys in Tempe who were going to ASU. And I drove a limousine, a stretch limousine, like a fucking 1978 stretch limousine that some college kids bought, and they were using it as like a short trip business model for the college kids. Like, get 10 kids together, hop in a limousine, pay $2 a head, and get taken from your dorms to the bars on Mill. And I drove that fucking thing around. Nice. So I listened to the radio all the time, and I remember hearing you, and I remember it being like, oh, Slippy's back in town. It was like a thing. I feel like you had come back. You were gone for something. I think you were gone on tour, or like I know you DJ'd with 50 Cent, and like I definitely heard the name, and it was intriguing to me. I heard Chris Villa on the radio all the time. But the late nights, I definitely remember hearing Slippy. And then the craziest thing was when I was with you at Montauk the other day, and you were fucking dropping those coins. You were hitting that sample on your computer and doing the Mario coin thing. It like instantly just brought me back to dropping people off in the fucking limousine in front of what Bottle Blonde. It's Bottle Blonde now, but it was Axis Radius, right?
Yeah.
And being in front of that place and fucking hearing those coins.
Yeah.
I remember being like, there's a DJ that has that fucking button on his computer.
Yeah.
And then you were doing it the other day. I was like, holy shit, that was fucking you.
So it's there's a lot to unpack there. Well, thanks. I appreciate you remembering that. There's a lot to unpack there. I guess we talked kind of about being in Chicago and growing up. I was a pretty bad kid. My mom would remove everything from my room except this little clock radio, and Friday, Saturday nights on B96, they'd have like Bad Boy Bill and Julian Perez and Tim Schomer and Tuku Chris, all these like legendary Chicago DJs. And so that was like, I want to be a DJ, I want to be on the radio. To get out of Chicago, I joined the military, I joined the Air Force, and they sent me out here to Luke Air Force Base, and there's this guy on the radio, DJ Earth, and he was butchering house music. They did this thing called Power Workout at Noon, and he was just mixing it like a hip hop record, like cutting it out and the fucking drops and shit like that. So I heard that he was in the Air Force or was just getting out. I met him, and I said, "How about this, dude? I teach you how to play house music because you're butchering it.
Yeah.
And
you need that.
Yeah, and you teach me how to scratch."
Okay.
So that was kind of the start of our relationship, and became roommates, and we started that Project Groove show. And then, I kind of just did like the circuit like everybody else, wherever I could get, Tuesday nights, blah, blah, blah. And then kind of the big break that kind of changed it for me was I had another roommate that helped start this 18 plus night, and I would take like a Thursday night and go, okay, I'll keep the door and you keep, split the door and you get half the bar. So that was the Axis Radius thing. We did it at Mist first, and then it was over there. And I mean, there'd be like 800, 900 people every Thursday night. And that's when it was like, boom, kind of like solidified. And then the G Unit thing you're talking about. So there's a guy named Hot Rod out here that got signed to G Unit, and I met him through the whole scene, and he was like, "You got a passport?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Coming with me." So the next 9 years were being around 50 Cent and Yayo and all these crazy fucking rappers that we all look up to. So
Yeah, how was that?
I mean, I'm thankful that I grew up in Chicago because I know how to navigate situations. You know what I'm saying? But it was great, man. I mean, I just, you learn that if you shoot these people straight that are giants, they'll typically shoot you straight back and be cool with you. If you waver, then they're coming for you. Yeah. So that was interesting. And then, I guess just kept working and got on with the D-backs, did 8 seasons with the D-backs, did ASU for 4 seasons, and then bought into the hot chick here and basically started this place with my brother-in-law and a bunch of other amazing dudes, and it's going really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is one thing about being out here that I'm seeing all these people that I really met most of these guys through Bottle Blonde in Chicago, and they came out there and they opened that place up and they ran it and they did a great job, and now they're moving on to owning their own spots, and there's a lot of DJs that are buying into spots and becoming owners and shit, and it's like seeing all that is mad inspirational to me.
It's been a long road, man, for sure. Yeah. There's a lot. There's always, for every level, there's a new devil, right? Like once you go to being someone at the top of the game with the DJ situation, but then you start a nightclub, and now you're in a room with these guys that know a lot more than you do about business and how the game works. So you almost have to start again and shut the fuck up and listen. You know what I mean? Which is very hard for me to do.
Yeah. So like you level up. You get you take over the DJ world, or you rise to a certain level at it, and then you get into this next world and you're back at the bottom and you're starting again. That's kind of crazy because I feel that even in DJing a lot. Like you take over the clubs and then you move on to trying to do, I don't know, maybe you become a producer or something, and you're trying to do like your own shows and become an artist, and you're at the bottom of like that tier now or whatever it is,
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds very relatable.
Yeah, it's a long, I don't know, you could probably identify this as even just a producer. He's making some dope stuff right now, and when you start producing, it's like you're absolutely horseshit at first, dude. You gotta, right?
It's what?
So you're just like I was horseshit for a long time until I.
Well, I did. We probably talked about it on the other pod too, but like I produced some records in like 2011, 2012 that like got released, and then literally like that was like when Dirty Dutch just kind of took over. And
Chucky,
and everyone's like, you got to make Dirty Dutch. Like, I don't know how to make that. I don't even like it. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. And like, I want to make this. And
what was this?
I like disco house.
Okay,
just kind of vibes. Like that. Just weird sounds, and because at that time, I was DJing with Mike B. Like we were the residents every Sunday night for Dimmock Sundays at Dre's in Hollywood, and so I was like, I want to make shit I can play in here, like on my night. We kind of carried the banana split. When AM passed, the party officially ceased, but we basically kind of carried the concept over to Dre's, and it became known as Dimmock Sundays, and it lasted several years. But in that time, I got to like on my Sundays, I played with Zed, when Zed was first starting to blow up. Played with Chris Lake, played with, legendary Arthur Baker, like really good, Chromeo, played with all these, like, amazing, and that was kind of shit. I was just like, yeah, see, I like shit like this, so I want to make shit like this. And, but then, yeah, I was just like, no one really cares about what I'm making. And I was like, at that same time, I was like, I still got to, like, keep my calendar full, and, it's a whole nother story. But it is just, it's just like constantly, like, you just can't let off the gas ever on anything. And I did. I was like, literally, like, working on music, like, every day, and I started to let off the gas on my calendar, and I started to be like, damn, if I don't do shit myself, it ain't gonna, like, get done. So it kind of got back to, like, all right, well, let me just focus on, like, just keeping my calendar full, and, traveling, and just play all these other records, like, whatever. But now that I'm back in Arizona, got a little less stress off my shoulders, whatever, I'm actually, like, making music again. Only this time I'm not releasing music as Fashion. I'm releasing it as a completely different entity. So,
and you keeping it under wraps or what?
For now, it's kind of under wraps, yeah. But I'll give you you basically touch on a really great point. It's like starting something new and, being at the bottom of the list. I basically uploaded my SoundCloud account for this new thing the other day, and I have 8 followers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
You got 9. I'll go follow.
it's very humbling. It's very
You
humbling.
got 10 now.
Yeah, it's very humbling, but at the same time, I'm also like, this is what I wanted, though. I want it to be organic. I don't want to, like, and I'm not going to throw names out there and, like, shit on people, but I know guys that, like, pay for all that shit and, buy tracks and put their name on it, shit like that, and I just refuse to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely refuse to do that. I don't care if no one listens to my shit. Like, everything that I've done, like, I made it. And it's kind of just that, but I'm back in that groove again. And I started when he asked me to move back here. It was like August, September of last year, 2024.
Yep.
I started to get really excited, and my wife and I, we got a 2-bedroom out here, and I was like, okay, finally, like, I get to take that second bedroom and basically have the studio that I've always wanted, or, just something to, like, actually, like, have my own spot and, like, work on music and stuff. And that's basically, when I'm not here, that's what I'm at home doing. I'm working, like, hard on the music right now, so.
That's dope.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you say you let off the gas at one point,
yeah.
like, what do you mean? Like, in terms of how, explain that.
I just thought at the time that my agency was going to handle a little bit more, and they only do so much. I mean, that's any agency. It's not even just the agency I was with. They all only do so much. So when I was putting my focus on these other things, then I started to see it. I was just like, well, wait, how come, like, last month, or, these last couple months, I was like, I had like 15, 16 dates out of town. And then this month I have like 8. And I'm like, wait, maybe I should, like, put this down and focus more on, like, keeping this going. And so that's kind of what it was. I was, like, focused more on something that wasn't lucrative at the time. Making music, to me, it will never be lucrative unless I get a hit.
I always say that you can't make money and make music at the same time.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so it's one or the other. Do I focus on something that doesn't make me money, or do I focus on something that keeps the fucking lights on and keeps the rent paid? And then, but in the meantime, like, it's having that balance of, okay, but this is the thing that makes me happy. It doesn't make me money, but it makes me happy.
Shouts to Long Drink for sponsoring the podcast. Absolutely the best cocktail you can get out there. That's exactly what it is. A cocktail in a can. It's not a seltzer. As you can tell, it's not one of those stupid, long, skinny cans that makes you look like an idiot stick when you're drinking it. This is good stuff. Anyone I give one of these to ask me what it is, where they can get it, and why they haven't had it before. I'm putting people on. You guys are next. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the program. Go to your local liquor store. Target's got them. Wherever you can. Grab a long drink today. Enjoy. Watch the pod. Let's get back to it. Thank you.
That's fucking amazing.
Thank you, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That makes me happy to hear.
yeah, no, I'm good.
And I hope that your happiness comes through the music that you're making, and other people get to enjoy that as
I hope
well.
so,
And
too.
like, that's
I
what
hope
it's
so,
all
too.
about.
Yeah, I hope so.
Some good stuff. I've already heard it.
You heard it?
Yeah.
Is it the disco-y kind of stuff?
No.
What are you making? Or what's he making?
It's dance music.
Dance
It's
music?
dance music. You know, the first two songs, one's a remix, one's an original, and both of them sound totally different. And then I'm actually almost finished with a third that sounds totally different from the other two. So I'm kind of just like making ideas that I have, and you know, just why not? You know, like I will say, like, Chris Lake is like a huge inspiration to me, because the guy literally, like, doesn't matter what genre in the dance music he touches, it's just fucking incredible. Like,
Dope.
you know, and it just, I like that. I strive to be something like that. It's just like, you can make a song that sounds like this, or you can make one that sounds like this, or you can make one that sounds like this, and like, just make it, whatever it is, just make it good,
Yeah.
you know? So
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
I hope people think my stuff is good, but if they don't, it's, you know, it's all subjective.
Well, I'm a genius, and I think it's good.
Thank
So
you, brother.
There it is. There you have it.
just switching to Kanye mode real quick.
Yeah.
But it's out there soon, and you know, soon enough people know.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
The I think that I've speculated a lot with other people on this podcast about like the traveling DJ thing,
Yeah.
and you did it, still do it, but like also did it at the height of what it was.
Mhm.
What do you think's going on with that right now? It doesn't seem to be like a thing that open format guy could strive for at the
No.
moment.
Absolutely not.
Do you think it's coming back? Because at one point that was the goal of every local open format DJ was to like get your weight up and become a fashion and become a Spider or a Scene, or, you know, AM started the whole shit, really. Vice, all those guys.
I think, well, I'll put you like this. You know, coming out of the pandemic, I was optimistic that, okay, everyone's stuck. Everyone can't wait to get back out. And, you know, that was true for a while, but at the same time, it like kind of bit us in the ass in a sense that coming right out of the pandemic, a lot of places were just like, well, we don't need to book talent. Like, we're already slammed. So why would we, you know, why are we going to spend the extra overhead when we don't need it? So I was kind of like, okay, I get it from that perspective. And then I was like, all right, well, maybe when it calms down a little bit, they'll be like, okay, now we need to get people in here. But then it started to calm down. And then you start to realize, you know, I talked to a lot of my, you know, friends and, you know, that run venues or bars or whatever. And they're like, dude, like, no one drinks anymore. No one goes out anymore. And they're like, it's hard to justify bringing a touring DJ in when, you know, we usually would pay, you know, liquor sales pay for DJ bookings, out of town DJ bookings. People aren't drinking, then
Start drinking, pussies.
I know, right?
Cheers.
You know?
On that note, I'm sober, so
Sorry, I didn't
yeah.
mean to
So
cut
I
you
was,
off.
I'm killing my own shit.
You're
I shot
part of the
myself in the
problem.
foot.
Yeah, no, you look good, man. You
Thank you, but yeah. So I think it's that it's totally different, and will it all change? It has to. I mean, it cycles. You know, like it's. You go back to the 80s and the 70s, you know, the disco clubs and, you know, the Studio 54s and all that, you know, they were at a height and then they were dead and then it all came back and then New York was crazy again. And then it was like, you know, and, you know, at that, I mean, it was bumping before, you know, I started really touring, but, you know, when in that era, in the, you know, late 2000s, whatever, like the 2008s into like the 15, you know, even then New York, you had like clubs like Butter and all those spots, you know, One Oak, whatever. I mean, One Oak's gone. I mean, Butter's gone, like all those things. But I would play, and I'd even go out to there, and I'm like, damn, this is so dope. I'm like actually playing a club in New York, you know, and Jay-Z and Beyonce are here, and then Teddy Riley's right there, and then Tretch from Naughty by Nature is right there, and I'm literally like playing on the anniversary of Biggie's birthday or death, or I forget what day it was, but it was March 9th when you know, when he passed away. So, but I did, and I was like, dude, I can't, like, that was like one of my dream things. I always wanted to DJ in New York, and I did, and I was just like, I remember, and that night was crazy because security wouldn't even let me in at first. I'm like, bro, I'm the DJ. Like, you got to let me in.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like one of the greatest nights ever, and then like literally, and then it was like gone a year later. I'm
That's
just like,
so
holy shit,
crazy.
like, it's gone. So I think that things will come back eventually, but when that time is, like, who knows? And it's different too, because, you know, now that weed's legal in half the country, you know, a lot of people, you know, they just like, they want to just chill and smoke. They don't want to go out and drink. So who knows? You know, it's kind of hard to like pinpoint that. So I would recommend DJs just be the star in your own neighborhood. Don't worry about trying to go anywhere. Just be the star in your own neighborhood.
Does it give you hope to see where the trend in music and DJing is going? Because to me, it feels like it's going back to that AM era of mashing up
musically
crazy shit.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
Playing the old rock and all that.
We go in. Wait, what? I played Ronnie James Dio at the end of my set.
Oh my God, yeah, dude, you play some shit, bro. You play
Holy Diver.
Yeah, like
in my set.
I love it. I'll be like, hey, you won't.
Yeah, that's the most fun, is to be in your boy's DJ booth and just.
Yeah, how you gonna bail out of this? Does it though every time?
You're just like, you know, but obviously, like, that was like the last song of the night. But at the end of the day, like, it is like, you know, lately, that's what I love about this venue. And so that was actually like, because that's another thing. Had another person out here or another venue out here made the same offer, I might have thought twice about it. But I like playing here because he knows what to expect. And he knows, like, I can go off the rails a little bit, you know, not all the time, but, like, you know when you can. But this particular venue, you know, Hot Chick, they, you know, dude, I'd be playing some shit.
Yeah, you do.
That's fucking awesome.
I'm like, all right, let me try this.
And doesn't that give you a little bit of hope to revive the career of, like, a traveling DJ, or dare I even say, like, an older DJ? Because there's no fucking young kid who's on sticks that could run a set like that. They don't even know that,
you know what's
that
crazy, though?
exists.
I don't know if any young DJs, like new young DJs, I don't know of any. Like, none.
Yeah, I mean, we got some really good, like I said, I got some guys even over here right now that are fucking amazing, you know, and
but not that are like, well, I personally, he probably has, but mostly, like, even just coming back, like, all the DJs that are out here, they're all guys I've known for years that are still doing it. Like, there's no really, like, new guys that I know of.
And it's got to be hard. I mean, I talk with some of these guys all the time about how to break through, and, you know, as a young guy, and it's like, you know, my advice would be, my life changed when I realized that, you know, you're more valuable putting asses in seats than you are fucking DJing. I mean, if you're a dope DJ and you can put asses in seats, then you're super powerful. So, I mean, you know, I've had guys, you know, hey man, I want to get on more, put me on more. I'm like, look, bro, like, you got to go and do it. You got to go and start a brunch and make, you know, one by one, make those connections with people. And it's going to take a long time, but, you know, and also I think that, like, my wife says stuff all the time. She's like, I feel so bad for you, like, with the DJ shit. And I'm like, why? And she's like, there's so many people just make a mockery out of your craft. And, like, I know how serious you take it. And I'm like, you know, you get these young kids, and it's like the gear is affordable now, and, you know, they can afford the gear. They're a DJ, bro. You can't tell them they're not a DJ.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to have a problem. They come and see one of us. But at the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been watered down a lot. So I think it's really hard for the younger guys to jump out. And
well, it's also like back then, you know, you tell people you're a DJ, they're like, oh, really? And then now it's just so cliche. Like, if someone's like, oh, I'm a DJ, you're like,
yeah,
you're like,
neat.
You're like kind of put in that. You feel like you can't even say it to someone. As someone says, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a DJ. And they're like, oh yeah, you're one of the million. Like, and I'm like, well, not really. Like, totally not that. Not that one that you're thinking of. But, you know, I guess, you know.
I really only started feeling that when I got my girlfriend, and I'm starting to meet her family, and, like, these people that are outside of nightlife and, like, all that. And I'm telling them I'm a DJ. And then I start to realize, like, the way that they look at me, I'm, like, almost embarrassed to tell them.
Like, when are you going to get a real job, brother?
Yeah. Like, forever, it didn't matter. I was fucking super mega party boy. I don't give a fuck. I'm a DJ, this and that. Now I'm trying to be like a functioning member of society, and I'm telling people I'm a DJ, and I'm starting to realize, like, nobody's really, our name has been tarnished.
Yes.
I don't even really try, like, I was just about to say that to him. Like, I don't even really try to.
It's like a token, like, you're like an extra in a movie these days. You know, you're like, oh, well, it's got to have a DJ in the movie at some point.
Yeah, and it hits different when you don't brag about yourself, or you don't try to explain it to them, and then you see them another time, and they're like, oh, shit, dude, I looked you up. Like, you're legit. They always say, you're a DJ. I said, well, what the fuck's a DJ? They're like...
Well, I always tell, too, like my dad.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, like my dad, I had for years I didn't really have a really good relationship with my dad. And then when my mom passed, you know, my dad came you know, to visit my sister and I, and you know, he's like, hey, you know, I want to be part of your life, this, that, whatever, and I was like, look, man, but he was like, you know, but what you do, you know, he's like, it's not a real job. He's like, what I do is a real job. He's like, I get up every day at 4 a.m. I go to work, and I'm come home at 6 o'clock, and I fall asleep in my chair, and I'm like, in my hands are there, and I was like, look, man, I was like, what I do, you know, it's gonna get done one way or the other. Why not have it be me? You know, like whatever. I was like, and I, you know, showed him like things I've done, who I've worked with, this, that, whatever, and then finally, you know, I was like, look. Like, if you want to be part of my life, I was like, you just have to accept the fact that I'm a grown man, and this is what I do, and if you can't handle it, I was like, you know, we can keep this relationship going the way it's been going over these years. And he finally caved, and then when he really started, like, looking into the things that I was doing, he's like, damn, he's like, he really is, you know, doing something, he really is talented, he really is, like, this, and now, like, you know, me and my dad, it's like my best friend, you know, and he does. He gets it. He totally gets it. And, like, there's been instances where he's, like, helped me in certain things that was involved with music and DJing. And you know, and I think he sees it totally different now. But, yeah, so just stay on your girlfriend's parents. They'll come around.
They're fine. It's just, like, the way that it first happened, you know, and like now I'm just seeing it from their perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like,
you got to get him out to a gig, bro. So my mom did the same thing. She was asked me probably like 7 years, like, when are you going to get a real job? And then I brought her out to Mist way back in the day, and it was cracking like 800, 900 people. And I just turned the music on. I was like, hey, it's my mom's birthday. Everyone sing happy birthday. And she started bawling, crying. She said, I'll never ask you that question ever again. I was like, okay, nice.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is super sick.
So yeah, you just got to bring her out to a gig and you're all set.
Maybe I'll DJ for one of their parties in their backyard. Show them what's up.
There you go.
They had some fucking violin chick or something last year. I was like, that's cute, but
yeah,
let me show you what's really good.
Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you these hands for sure.
It's like the God. What did I see? It was like a TikTok or a reel that I saw the other day, and the kid's sitting there. I think it was like Christmas, and he's sitting. He's got all his family all around him, like old folks and whatever. And he's got the controller sitting on the coffee table, and he's banging out some like dubstep, and they're all looking at him like, "What are you doing?" He's just going in, and I'm like, "Oh my God."
That's so funny.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah,
that's how I picture it.
Yeah, their parents are definitely going to feel some type of way if you're just rinsing dubstep in the living room.
Yeah, they're not going to enjoy that.
No.
I'm gonna hit them with a little disco.
There you go.
I want to hear some of the disco stuff you made, because I got this show with White Shadow now on Globalization where we're playing disco shit. I got to run some of your shit.
Yeah, dude, it's on Spotify.
Hell
been there for like 12 years. What's crazy, I was talking to Eric Deluxe the other day, and or it was either Deluxe or Scratchy, and I was letting him know, I was like, dude, like, I gotta, you know how all the big DJs, producers post their Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Man, I get that too. Like, I haven't put music on Spotify in almost 13 years. I still get a Spotify Wrapped. I had 15,000 plays on records that I made 12 years ago last year, and I'm like, cool, like 15,000 plays.
That's crazy.
I ain't mad at that. Like,
awesome.
People are still listening to it. I still get hit with licensing offers for like gyms, and I think 2 years ago I got hit with an offer from Peloton to have those songs included on there.
Wow.
I mean, who knows if anybody listened to it, but I think they offer that to pretty much anybody on Spotify. They just want to make sure that if any of that music pops up, that you're not going to like sue them or anything like that. But the fact that you get those, it's just cool. It's just like a little reminder, like, yeah, I did something, and it's like there, and like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're like, where are these people listening from? And it's like Tunisia or wherever. Like, I had 3 people listening to my shit in Tunisia. Like,
yeah, but I got, dude, the disco stuff is fun. And you want to hear some good disco stuff right now? Miami Funk Machine.
Yep. I just actually premiered their newest unreleased track on the last week's episode of
Good stuff.
Cool House.
Good stuff. Excited for that. Excited for that. Yeah.
You know that Big Once engineers all that from Chicago.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Super sick.
Good for those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when you met?
When we met?
Yeah.
Radio station.
yeah, probably what, like 03 or 04?
Probably then, because wait, didn't it move? It moved in like 05, 06, right? To the other venue. So yeah, about 03, 04.
Yep. Yeah, it was cool, man.
So yeah, what, 20 years?
Nice.
20 years.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was like, again, my goal was to be on the radio, and I got there, and it was fun. It was way different back then, obviously, but you know, there was like record reps, and you would get courted kind of to play records and shit, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah, I mean, shit. In 04, well, would you say for the sake 04, I had already been on the radio then almost 9 years. You know, and but I remember like when I first got on in '96, I was like taking my turntables up there and like setting up and like, well, first I had to turn in mixes with a DAT machine, and then they're like, all right, now we're gonna do it live. Yeah, I had to like record it at home, and then like I had to drive the mix up every single day from, because I was in Mesa at the time, drive the mix to downtown, make sure I get it in on time so we could run, and then go back home, record another one the next day, get it back in.
Or they had carts. Remember, like all the commercials were on like, they're called carts, like cartridges.
Yeah,
so
they
it'd
look
be
like 8-track cassettes.
Yeah, and they like the whoever was playing on the air would have to like pull all the carts and then stick them in the machine.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm over here now.
Prehistoric.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy. But then yeah, and then eventually we started mixing live. But and then I think when we finally got into the new building, in like you said, right around like 2005.
Yeah.
They put an actual setup in there, so no one had to bring their shit in there anymore. You just and then that's when Serato kind of came out, and then yeah, kept it moving. So. Yeah, and then I left radio in 06.
You said you moved to LA in 09, right?
09, yeah. Yeah, it was either 06 or 07 that I left radio then. So yeah, but I did. August 09. So I was there, and then I moved back, November. So I was there literally 15 years and 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Crazy. And it didn't feel like 15 years. It felt like about like 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were traveling a lot for those whole 15 years, right? Like every weekend, every Friday, every Saturday.
A lot until the pandemic. Like literally, the pandemic like ended it. Like it literally ended everything. Because like even before the pandemic hit, I was thinking like, okay, like not that I was trying to exit because I wasn't, but I started to think of, all right, what is going to be my exit strategy? Because at some time that's going to have to be a thing. And literally in that like time frame, like within that like 2-month period of me thinking like, what could I do? Because those that know, like I'm really into art, things like that. So I thought I was like, oh, maybe like work at a gallery, run my gallery, do whatever, do this, do that, whatever. And then the pandemic hit, and it basically like did it for me. It was basically like the pandemic said, nope, you're done. And I was like, but I'm not ready to be done yet. So I kind of wasn't ready. And so coming back out, that's why it was so difficult, because just like, holy shit, like, what am I supposed to fucking enter the workforce again at 53? Like, not knowing anything else? And so kind of like that's what it was. And I'm just like, that's why I was like, okay, dude, I got to double down on like DJing for now, because this is what I know. This is what I'm good at. And at the end of the day, people still need DJs. So it's kind of like,
They need DJs, and I will say again, I think right now people need a good fucking DJ more than they have over the last, 2025 now? Over the last 7-8 years.
Dude.
I think like being a good, knowledgeable, deep crated DJ is huge right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think, like, I read someone's tweet today. I can't remember who it was. I think it was my buddy DJ Cass in Miami.
Shouts to Cass.
And I think I'm pretty sure it was him that said it. So if I'm wrong, my bad. But he said something like, it is like these days, like the skilled DJ it's not as important to like your customer as just like you have to kind of think outside the box. He said, every now and then you got to slam something in. You got to like pick up the mic and like, not every song has to mix, things like that. And I agree with him. People are so short-sighted. I think TikTok did a lot of that. People's minds only go at like 30 seconds, intervals now. So you can be a really good skilled DJ, but people just want to hear, all these like crazy songs. But at the same time, I think that's what's great about the open format DJ stuff now too, is like songs on TikTok and like reels and stuff. Like look at like ABBA, Gimme Gimme. I mean, like that song's from like the 70s, and like 2 years ago it was like one of the biggest like things. It's just kind of like, I love how all these like old songs are coming back into like all these different things, and like, you know, I think it's corny that everything's attached to a dance now, but at the same time,
Gimme have a dance.
I don't know if that one did, but a lot of ones you got to have a dance, and I'm just like,
they're trying to be viral or whatever.
But just knowing that songs are coming back, or like, you know, perfect example, the guy that was on the skateboard and did the Fleetwood Mac song, drinking Gatorade or whatever. Yeah. You know, but that was awesome. You know, and that song went to #1 all these years later. The song's also from the 70s.
And that guy got a nice Ocean Spray check.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He did. But that's what's great is like those songs, like you can play them in a venue like this and people are like, oh, I love that song. And you're just like, you know.
I've tried to create that vibe here, man. It's like, you know, I have a wide catalog. Pause. He's got a wide catalog. You know.
Good.
No pause.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, no pause. And you know, again, like it's people like some of the DJs are like almost like alarmed that they're like, well, what's the format? I'm like, I mean, there's a format, but just be dope. You know what I mean? And like even him, like the first couple times, like, you sure? It's all good.
Oh, dude, I was stressed. I was like, well, because I told him, I was like, dude, you got, because he does. I mean, there's several DJs that rotate out of here. And I was like, okay, like staff, like it's really important for me that the staff likes me. Like not just as a person, but that they like the way I'm playing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, at first I was like, well, they hear all these other guys and how they play, and I don't want to come in and they're like, well, what is this guy doing? He's not playing what the rest of the guys are doing. And that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. And so I was like, I would tell them like, hey guys, if I'm, you know, if there's anything you want me to play, like want to hear, if I'm doing something wrong, I was like, let me know. I was like, cause you know, I'm trying to like, you know, I don't want to be the square fitting into the circle. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, hey, but this motherfucker didn't make me move out here.
Yeah, that's why you're here.
To play just like everyone else either. So I'm kind of like, all right, at the same time, I'm kind of like, all right, maybe just fall back a little bit and just be like, you know what, just do what you do, and, you know, and everything will fall in line. And so, and it has, so.
Dude, I mean, the other night I played Lachona into Dirty Little Secret and then played Throw Your Hood Up, all like consecutively. I swear to God, people were looking at me like, you all right, dude? But the place was going off, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, take the risk. And maybe every night you take the risk and it doesn't work. But, you know, most nights we'll play YMCA, the original version in here, and everybody from the front to back's going nuts. You know what I mean? Because just as the DJ, you got to set it up. The opener, you know, I put a closer in the opener position every night.
Okay.
So I put tough guys in the opening position because I believe if there's a tough guy in that opening position, then he's going to set the guy up to knock him down as soon as he comes in at 11 or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's most of the time when you get that rush at the late night here, they're already set up to go ape shit. So, you know, I'm like, run it, bro. Do you. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about this place is that it's got a dive bar kind of feel to it. It's got that in the foundation of it, and I think that is the wave right now. Like I just played on Mill at the new spot Neon Spur, and they made a dive bar for 21-year-old kids, and all of these kids all night were like, yo, this is awesome. And they're fucking requesting like 80s. I got a request for Obsession by Animation or whatever the fuck it is. Like
hot record,
bro. Crazy. I'm playing songs that I would be so nervous to play in front of 21-year-old kids. Like I find myself shitting my pants if I'm playing in front of a crowd that's too young, because I'm like, I don't want to look like a fucking old man by playing some shit that
they want to
I thought was hot or whatever.
That doesn't bother me. I always am just like, fuck it. Like I'm almost going the attitude like, I'm gonna play this and you're gonna like it no matter what. Like. But I will say this, that's awesome that you got that request, because I've felt like lately the requests have been better.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't it like last year or like the year before, it was just like every request was Bad Bunny?
Yeah.
I haven't had a Bad Bunny request in a while,
and
which
he
is
just
great.
dropped a new album.
He
so
did.
That's a definite turning of the tide.
It is, because I haven't really gotten any requests. And not that I say that I'm not anti-Bad Bunny, because he's a great artist, does great stuff.
I saw him live. He was amazing. And
having that phone in my face said Bad Bunny every fucking night, like just
dude,
stop real fast.
Stop doing that
got
shit,
old real
people.
Fast.
If you're not a DJ and you're watching, stop doing that shit with your phone. It's rude. Right.
It was funny. Actually, it was like 3 weeks ago. I'm like in the DJ booth here, and there was a girl sitting at the bar on one of the things, and she had the phone, and I'm like, "You're 20 feet away." I was like, I can't read that. I'm 20 feet away. I was like, can't read that. I was like,
he doesn't have his readers on.
You need a pair of binoculars up
I'm like, if you want that song request, then you have to get off the chair and you have to walk over here and tell me. And she was just like, never mind. And I'm like, even better.
Because she doesn't want to hear the word no.
Even better. So, but the requests that I have been getting, they've actually been like really good. And the best thing, and just to like that request, is when you get one like that and you're just like, oh fuck yeah, I got that. I totally got that. You know,
dude, I try not to be rigid, and like I have been a good portion of my career thinking about, oh, they won't know this, and it's like some of the younger kids now have a deep knowledge of the stuff that we all love because their parents are literally the same age as us, right? Which sounds funny, but you know, we play videos here a lot, and it's funny to watch like the people that are wearing the fashion, the Fila, you know, the stuff from the 90s, whatever, and then they're looking up at like a TLC video and they're like seeing it how it was supposed to be worn. You know what I'm saying? And they're just like, they're almost just in this like trance watching these videos, you know? So it's, you know, they want an experience, dude. They want to get out of their phones. They want to, you know.
I think that's what people are craving right now. As much as we played into the like, all right, TikTok culture, I'll mix my song every 20 seconds. I'll change it up as fast as possible because people don't have the attention span anymore. We played into that. I personally think that is over and coming to an end.
Yeah.
People are craving the complete opposite at this point. Yeah. People are buying $50 disposable cameras out of vending machines rather than taking a picture on their fucking iPhone because they're craving it.
Yeah. Well,
John Boy's so hot. Disco's hot right now because they're craving old school. They need a different feel.
A lot of that stuff is timeless. Those songs are timeless. You know, like they always, you know, they always come and go, and you always end up back at those same songs.
I always come and go.
Got him.
No pause. But there are, I mean, you know, and I'm trying to shit on hip hop. You know, I started DJing because of hip hop. I was a backpacker. Like, I was like, fuck everything. If it ain't hip hop, it ain't nothing. Like, I was that guy. But dude, like, hip hop these days is so fucking disposable. Like, I don't even want to play anything. Like, I'll listen to like 20 hip hop, 30 hip hop records every week just to see like what's new. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to play any of these records. It's all just so like, holy fuck, man, just kill me now. Like,
honestly, I'd
rather play a record that came out 30 years ago.
Not all of it. I'm really into some of the new stuff. Like Big X is sick. Mexican OT is sick.
Plug does
like,
have, but he's flipping like old shit. That's
right.
the dopest part.
And
about
his producer Tony Cole's like amazing, dude. He's an alien for sure. Like, I definitely like sliding his DMs. I met him once out here, and I was like, bro, you guys are crushing it. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's a needle in a haystack these days. Like, you know, for every 20 records, there's one or two decent records. You're like, all right, yeah, I can play these. But back in the day, in the early 90s, you know, in the late 90s, in early 2000s, dude, every record that came out was a banger. You're just like, how am I going to fit all these records into my night?
Yeah, I think something like Big X, to the draw to it for me is that it is that old sample.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, damn, I could get away with playing that because it's this old sample. But now I could just play that fucking song itself rather than have to like sneak it in through a Big X song. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. But I think his voice, you know, like that's part of being a rapper. Like if I got a pretty cool voice, but if I tried to be a rapper, no one's really going to want to listen to it, right? So it's like his voice is like, thanks, I appreciate you.
Hate my voice.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put you on the third verse, like Wale or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But no,
I'll make the edit. Cut the middleman out.
Cut the radio edit. Yeah. No, he's got that voice, and it's, you know, when something's like captivating like that, it doesn't feel new to me. You know, the trap hi-hat porn that shit. That's terrible. We've all heard that. There's no soul. There's no feeling in it. So,
yeah. I feel that. I kind of went through when I left Houston and came back to Chicago when you said that like you were thinking about potentially getting out of DJing and then like it just happened and you were like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
I was at a point where I was like, I think I got to stop DJing. I was like at rock bottom. I was like, I fucking hate it. I don't even enjoy it. I don't want to do it. It's making me miserable. And then I went and tried to do anything else, a couple different things, and I was like, I can't do any of this. I'm a fucking DJ.
Long Drink is a legendary Finnish favorite that's been around since the 1952 Summer Games. It's a deliciously refreshing blend of premium liquor, natural grapefruit flavor, and just the right amount of carbonation. Honestly, this is the stuff right here. White is sugar-free, blue is citrus, orange is peach, red is cranberry, black is extra strength, and they're all fire. New flavors dropping soon, so watch out for those. And they're just the best sponsor for this podcast. So the next time you're tuning in, make sure you crack open a Long Drink, enjoy one while you're watching the show, because good vibes deserve great drinks. Let's go, champ. We're back to the episode. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
For me, it was more of a, okay, you're getting up there in the numbers. Eventually, people are just gonna be like, yeah, we ain't trying to book that guy no more. And you just, that's I think where my mentality was. It's like, yo, at some point, someone's gonna be like, dude, you just ain't it anymore. So like, that's kind of where I was like, all right, I gotta have like a backup plan. Like, what am I gonna do and whatever. And then at the same time, that's why I was kind of like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna double down, because at the end of the day, I don't care how young these fucking kids are, like how popular they are or whatever. Like, you know, I'm a better DJ than half these kids.
Yeah, you just get one of those big Pharrell hats.
Yeah, you just
fucking pair of glasses.
No one will ever know.
You're good to go.
No one will ever know.
Dude, I was going to say something earlier about like burning out, right? Because like to be a DJ and operate like at the levels that like all of us have to be, I mean, you really got to be a savage, dude. And you got to do the job of 10 people, you know, to even exist for as long as any of us have. And like past couple of years, with taking on this and taking on other things and also trying to exist still in that realm, burnt out, man, and just was like treating people shitty. And, you know, so I ended up like, you know, starting therapy, bro, and like figuring out how to put boundaries on like saying no to certain gigs and saying, you know, this is important to me, I'm going to go this direction, versus everyone tugging at you to give you something, you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, that I love DJing like Fashion does, you know, and it's like the thing I don't love is being burnt out and not having, you know, time to kick it with my friends or wife or whatever. So I've had to distance and kind of like, I'm taking off this now and do a couple gigs a month, maybe.
Yeah.
More quality than quantity.
Yeah. Turning gigs down is actually one of my favorite things in the world.
I'll admit, I still don't turn that many down. Only if the financials aren't correct.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's why you would turn it down, right? Because they're not coming up with... Being in the spot where you have to take any gig because you need any money is the worst. Yeah. Getting to a place where you can say, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's powerful when you like when you're sorted, bro. Like it's powerful because you're like, man, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that. I don't need to do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm all set.
Yes.
But there's also gigs that I've taken where the financials weren't there, but I was like, you know what? I'm all about this gig. Sure. I'm all about the music that we're gonna play at this gig. I'm all about the vibe of this gig. I'm just like, yo, so like, you know, if you can't afford it, like, this is the exception. But that's when you're your own boss, you can make that decision, you know, and it's you know.
Yeah, the pandemic thing, man. I you know, we opened here and we were wildly successful in the first year, and you know, everything came back around and finances were looking great, and then that hit, and then in the middle of that hitting, we caught fire here, and then I got down to super low. So like one of the things I learned from the pandemic was, you know, the financial literacy stuff, bro, how to start making my money work for me, because, you know, like he's saying, I never wanted to be in that situation ever again. So like, you know, having to learn and read certain books and stuff like that was very important out of the pandemic for me. And I hate that word pandemic, but
yeah, you got a couple tips or something for any young guys watching or anything?
Yeah, dude. The book Rich Dad Poor Dad changed my life. Yeah. I mean, yes, it changed my life because it was so simply explained. You know, and I'll let y'all read the book, but it was so simply explained about just, you know, going to a job every day and punching a clock, or, you know, investing in things and how to, you know, make your money an asset work for you. And, you know, little by little, I just started putting away what I could and starting figuring out, you know, how to diversify everything. And don't buy shit coins from crypto. Buy Bitcoin.
Just hock to a coin.
No, I don't think so.
You told me you didn't buy that.
Hell no.
Yeah, to make sure.
Come on now.
Just making sure.
she'd have to buy the Slippy coin.
Yeah.
Stupid. But yeah, man, just try and pay your taxes. That's
Paying your
good.
tax is a big one.
Yeah.
But you got to do it in the right way. You got to do it like a Jew.
Are you Jewish?
Yes.
Okay. Whoops. Fair enough. I mean,
You got to find the loopholes, and you got to, get your expenses up, and you got to.
yeah, and there's certain. I mean, if you're a DJ and a younger DJ, and you don't have an LLC. There's certain things that you can do. Like you start an LLC, and they're going to give you working capital, right? And if you're spending like your personal credit cards and things on equipment and all that stuff, you can't write off most of the interest in the things that you're doing. But if you have a business account, I think, don't quote me, but 100% of business interest is deductible. So you can work and buy gear and build your company with the bank's money and hopefully make enough that if you don't, that interest deduction will come off. So you're just like, you know what I mean? It's just about making your money work for you. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's little things like that
Yep.
add up.
What's another book?
Well, after that, I read, it's called Cash Flow Quadrant. And it's basically about employee, self-employed, investor. I forget the other one because I've been drinking and smoking a little bit, but it just basically taught how to if you're an employee, then you don't really have any risk. If you move to the next one, you have all the risk. And then when you get here, all you're doing is throwing a check at something and backing off. And so now I've moved for those quadrants, and I just have investments in certain places that I have no control over, but my money's growing for me and it's working.
Any books that aren't business related?
The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
The Secret. I definitely watched that movie. I never read the book.
Yeah, it's I listened to the audiobook and I read the book, but I've been trying to read a lot more. I mean, that was a simple one. It was just like, actually my buddy Rod gave me that Hot Rod gave me that book back in the day, and that helped change my life a long time ago. Just about manifesting, and just, if you're not into religion or you're not into anything, it's a very nice way to look at being spiritual, I guess.
Got a nice spiritual tone to it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big reader?
Not books, but I mean, I have a lot of books, but they're I read them now and then. I'm not like I don't like to read like fiction or nonfiction, anything like that. I like more like, I'm kind of like a Discovery Channel guy. Like I like to read books that I learn things about.
Yeah.
But even then, like most of my stuff is like art related. I like art history, stuff like that. But
We bond over that. We're big art guys.
But yeah, as far as like any of those like business books, like I don't know any of those. I'm gonna have to like look them up. But yeah, I need to get better at stuff like that. And my wife, she has books like that. She's Art of War, all that kind of stuff. She has all those things. So, but yeah, I need to get more into reading again. But it's just finding time to do things like that.
Yeah.
The 48 Laws of Power is a good one too. There's a lot of zingers in there, like never outshine the master. Or, if you're working for someone, you could never try and son who you're working for. Or make them understand your presence with your absence. That's another good one. If you're not getting the results that you want, to back off instead of put more pressure on things. There's like little ways to navigate life and business. Yeah. I'm not like a super big reader, by the way. I feel like I'm like,
You're the librarian right now.
Yeah, I'll take that. I've never been that before.
All the books you mentioned are definitely ones that I've heard multiple times. A lot of friends have read or have heard mention of them on pods that I've listened to and whatnot. But I can't read books. I'm definitely an audiobook guy.
Yeah.
I don't have like the fucking attention span to read a book.
Yeah.
I don't think I read a single book in my entire life throughout my school career or anything. I don't think I finished a book.
Those were like the 3 that I've only read.
When I was a kid, it was Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Oh yeah,
I read those like fucking crazy.
They make porn like that now, dude.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's serious.
Oculus, huh? We gotta get.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. He knows the damn name of it.
Listen, we could talk about porn all day. These fucking books. I don't know anything about
for
them.
sure. Well, hard turn.
Oh my god.
The only books I remember were the ones that had the the picture with the coinciding sound down the side of it, where you would press the button and it would make the sound like the Batman joints. You remember those?
I do not.
Those were after your time.
Those are after my
Cow
time.
goes moo. or whatever.
The books I read are etched in stone.
Sheesh, not a tablet.
Hieroglyphics.
Yep.
Wait, you were a big backpacker guy, hip hop guy. Speaking of
It
hieroglyphics,
was like early backpacker, like when it really kind of started getting like, I think the most backpack it got at that time for me was like AC Alone.
Okay.
But then, as it kind of like, people are going to kill me for this, but I was never really like I never really steered into the backpack scene like when it was like MF Doom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I was more of a KMD fan than a MF Doom fan.
You got to keep that one in.
Yeah. But
Can't let that one out.
Well, you know what it is. You know what it is though? It was just at that point my career had kind of went towards radio and club DJing and stuff, and it was like, but at the time I was like the early backpacker. It was like, it was Mobb Deep and all that kind of stuff, Black Rock and Ron, it was like, all the early like the late 80s, like early 90s stuff, that kind of stuff.
I would almost even say that's like the classic shit, like Mobb Deep for sure.
But at that time, it wasn't considered the classic.
True.
At that time, that was the backpacker shit.
True.
It wasn't like, people were like really like riding off of like Diddy and Tupac and, all that kind of stuff. There were still a lot of like underground records, that were, still didn't get that shine. It was still, and that also at that time, still living in Arizona, I worked at a local record store here called Swell Records. Shout out to Russell Ramirez.
Here.
Haven't seen Russ in years, but I did. I would order records from Peanut Butter Wolf, and Peanut Butter Wolf would be like, I ordered for the store, and so he'd be like, yo, you guys need this, you need this. So he put me onto all these independent like labels and all these independent records, and so it was like that was my jam. That was how I like all that stuff.
If you got to tell that story of like, have you heard the old school like Eminem freestyle with that he did with his name on it or no?
No, I don't think so.
You got to tell that story or no?
What do we got?
Like he's got this. It's like this record. That's when I think before I met you, I heard that, and it's like super young Eminem, and he was like on his way to stardom, and he's like, I'm rapping and crashing and snapping with DJ Fashion or whatever.
He had just released Hi, My Name Is. He had just released it. It was starting to get a little love on MTV. So the label, Interscope, was taking him all the radio stations around the country, made it out here to Phoenix, and he came up to the radio station one night. I think it was like a Monday night, and my boy Lil Sean was on the air at the time with us. He did some co-anchor stuff with the afternoon guy and the night guy, and so we came in and took him into the mix room, and he made some like radio sweeps and drops and stuff for the radio station. And I was like, "Yo, can you do a freestyle?" So I had just got this like Noriega record, Noriega singles, like didn't really do anything, but had the instrumental. He busted out a freestyle for me, and I was like, all right, this is great. I got this Eminem. No one knows who this guy is. We literally left the radio station and went down to Mill Avenue. And at the time, there was a club called 411. And we went to 411, and it was slammed with kids. That was like the spot. It was like teen nights during the summertime. I mean, it was so hot in that motherfucker. Like, the windows were just like, you could like wipe the condensation off the window to look out. That's how hot it was up there. And no one had any idea who Eminem was. We were just there. Like, no one could care less. You would have bumped into him and be like, oh, dude, like, watch where you're walking. And, and then obviously Eminem went on to be who Eminem is. And I'm like, dude, I like have a freestyle. And like, he's only done like a handful. And I still have it. Still have the freestyle. But he crushed it. He was like, give me some info about yourself, like what you do. And at the time, I had just gone to see a movie that weekend. And it was something about Mary. That's when in the theater, something about Mary. And I got carded. To see the movie, and because I looked young. And so he did. I told him what happened, and he included it in the freestyle. So if you want, I'll give you the freestyle. You can attach it to the pod.
I would fucking love that.
It's only like a minute and a half long.
Yeah, no, I want to hear that for myself.
Yeah, but
these guys.
But yeah, so
yeah, that's awesome.
Did you buy him Taco Bell or something, or is that? Did you buy him dinner or something like that? No, or just sleep on somebody's couch? Do you sleep on someone's couch?
Well, I used to live with Z-Trip. And
You were roommates with Z-Trip?
for like a year.
awesome.
I don't know that I'd call it roommates. I think more or less he let me stay at his house. I slept on his couch and I gave them very little money.
Okay.
He had a roommate, an actual roommate. They each had a room. I had a couch.
You're a squatter.
Yeah, but he did a couple. Z-Trip like promoted a couple parties and I helped them promote. And they booked Qbert. And Qbert actually came out and stayed, like at the house, and we were like, "Holy shit, Qbert's staying in our house!"
Dope.
Like, holy fuck.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was like super crazy back then, and we were just like, "Holy shit!" Yeah, I forget what was the venue. It used to be like right off of Van Buren. It was and then it was a paintball place for a while.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like right across from like where Honey Bears was, like way back in the day. Like, but there was a club venue there, and they did like after hours. It was like,
Ice House?
not Ice House.
No.
Ice House was downtown. But this place like raged. It was like 3 a.m. and like, you know, I remember the couple times we were playing like Tool at like 3 a.m. We're just like
Sick.
banging out Tool.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, but that was the couch one that I know of. I can't
All
remember.
right, so I got a question. You obviously know Z-Trip
Yeah.
decently well.
Yeah, just talked to him last week.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay. So the lore is that this is like a story that I heard through the DJ community, grapevine, game of telephone, whatever the fuck you want to call it, a long time ago. I couldn't even remember who told me this. But allegedly, he had an interview in a magazine.
Okay.
And it was like I want to say it was The Source. Could have been The Source. It was a big magazine, like big
Okay.
interview. He's kind of popping. And they asked him why it was taking so long to put his album out or something.
Okay.
And he said, it's hard to get in the studio and get these songs done when I'm getting paid $20,000 per gig. And allegedly that wasn't true. But
Okay.
he knew that if he said that in this magazine, now that's what his price is. That's what his rate is.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Do you know anything about this?
I do not. That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to.
Z-Trip, leave it in the comments.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's the first time I'm ever hearing that.
Okay. all
But
right.
yeah, at first, when I didn't see where you're going with that, and now when you tell me, I'm like, damn, that is pretty clever. If you really trying to put it out there, like, yo, if you really want to book me, like, that's my rate.
Yeah.
And even if that wasn't the rate, he basically set the rate.
Exactly.
In
That,
that
was the
magazine.
whole thing. Like that was the whole point of someone
That's
even
crazy.
telling me the story. Is like, yo, this
Yeah.
is what Z-Trip did.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't know. He never taught me any of that. He never taught me how to do that. But I will say this: I'm gonna put Z-Trip on blast right now. It's not really on blast, but he actually hit me a couple days before Christmas, and he's like, "Hey, man, I got booked for this event." And I'm like, okay. And he goes, it's a private party. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, the day after Christmas. I'm like, all right. And I was like, what do you need? And he goes, I know they're going to ask me to play all this, like, shit that I don't have and, like, whatever. And I was like, I got you. So, yeah, he did. He's like, I know you got all that stuff. And you're the guy. You've always been the guy that has all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy that has that kind of stuff.
Well, what's
So,
that
yeah,
kind of
so-
like
What stuff?
mainstream, like club
Yeah, just
shit?
like mainstream shit and like whatever. And he's like, oh, you know, I got like this, that, and whatever. But hey, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I used to be a gatekeeper of music. These days, not so much. If someone wants something, I usually give it to them. Unless it's something that somebody's given me and they're like, don't give that to anybody. I'd be like, yeah, all good. But I was like, whatever, what do you need, dude? He's like, dude, just anything you think I might play for this, like, whatever. And yeah, so I sent him like 400 songs.
Nice.
And I was like, dude, you're set. I was like, you can't go wrong. I go, you have 400 songs. I go, there's no way you bomb this party. So I'm going to assume it went good. I never heard from him after that.
Yeah, you got to send him an invoice now.
I need to hit him and be like, yo, man, how'd that party go, bro? Don't just hit me up for the music. You got to hit me up with the recap.
No, I'm
But,
interested
he's
what
a
was
good
in
dude.
that folder.
So he's a good dude.
No, yeah, I've only heard good things, but I think that it seems to me right now, especially the whole giving music to people is such a big thing in the DJ community that I've seen take a huge turn. Like right now, I'm in group chats where people are asking for songs and people are just giving them to them, or like I'm going to play this room and people will give them a Dropbox folder of music. Like I played there, this shit went well. Like everyone's kind of sharing music, and that is dope because it's such a tight community.
Well, I think before you didn't do it because it was like, well, if you have my music, why would they book me when they can book you? And it's just like, you know, and not only that, it's just like, well, I don't want you to sound like, I don't want to give you the music I would play because this is the music I play and this sounds like me. So if I give you that, then now you're just kind of like, I'm basically just giving you my identity. So in certain circumstances, now, obviously, you know, everything, I mean, there's certain stuff you just, you know, not to get, you're just like, look, man, I dug for these things. Like, you're going to have to dig for these things too. But like,
what's a record you wouldn't just give out? If you could think of it off the top of your head.
I mean, honestly, I can't think of anything
Like
at this point. It would just be like maybe something that like somebody gave me, or like maybe like, because you know I'm on a lot of early release promo lists and stuff like that. So for now, like I'm kind of like, all right, well, I got on the. It took me a while to get on some of these lists, so I'm gonna hang on to this for a little bit. But you know, when stuff starts to come out, I'll be like, oh, if you need that, I got you. Like whatever.
Is there something recently that blew up that you had early on one of those lists, and then now it took off and it's a huge song?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
No.
But one thing that I'm very stingy about is my yacht rock folder. Yeah.
Did you watch the documentary?
I did.
Fire.
Yeah.
They're really good.
I did.
It's dope.
I've only shared that folder with Graham, Funky, and Stone Rock because they're the yacht rock legends.
They are the guys.
They're the guys.
They are the guys.
Yeah.
Do you have, is that folder have a lot of like edits and shit, or is it more just straight fucking?
The OGs.
Straight OGs.
Straight OG. Like, I'm not a big fan of edits when it comes to that. I just want the originals.
Same.
I want the originals. I don't want redrums. I don't want remixes. I don't want nothing. I want the originals.
Pure.
And I prefer them at the highest bitrate quality possible.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, during the pandemic, I built that folder just to stream, and I actually hit those guys and was like, hey, would you guys be mad if I did like a yacht rock show on my Twitch channel, because I just kind of want to do it? And they're like, yo, knock yourself out. And then it just became this Sunday night thing that I would do. And then I literally was like, okay, well, I'm in my house like 7 days a week. I'm just going to fucking go down the yacht rock rabbit hole. And I did. I compiled a folder that I was just like, I never in my life imagined that I would have the library that I have today. And so I think that's why I'm so like, I ain't giving that away. It took me, you know, several years to basically put that together. So that's probably the one thing that I'd be like, nah, you ain't getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you look up the Questlove playlist from that documentary? He talked about the playlist that he made for Anthony Bourdain because Anthony Bourdain hated yacht rock so much.
You know, I have not. Honestly, I watched the documentary twice, and there were 2 records that were mentioned on it that I had, but I never really played, and I went back to listen to, and that was it. And I haven't. Did you look up?
Yeah, I looked up the playlist. Yeah, I got it.
Was it good?
It's definitely good. It's got all the shit on it, but there's a ton of stuff on there that I've never heard.
And see, that's the things. You know, Captain still put me on stuff that I hadn't heard, and I was just like, you know, and that's why those guys are the goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why those guys are the goats. But,
hell yeah.
But yeah, that would probably be the only thing. Everything else, I'm just like, yo, I got you.
That makes sense. Do you have a coveted crate?
I don't know, man. I got a few crates that I never play that I wish I could, like Chicago Booty House folder, like work it,
little juke shit,
yeah,
little house.
But they're not trying to hear that. But I don't know, man. I love playing dancehall and reggae music whenever I get the opportunity. So if I can dip into there, I got some dope remixes and.
Tell them about your band.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Thanks for asking. Yeah, just nice. Yeah, I just started a new project. Excuse me, with these 2 amazing dudes, musicians, Christian and Chris, and it's called Sancho's. And if you don't know what a Sancho is, it's basically the side dude in Spanish. So you know, we kind of took that from like a Sublime reference. And initially, we started trying to do some covers. We kind of wanted to be like a modern day jam band. I know a lot of guys in like different reggae bands, big reggae bands, and you know, I wanted to have everything like the MIDI and everything like laid out. So if someone came into town and we're doing a gig, I could just zero out the MIDI and they could come in and play live. And so that was the initial, you know, thing. And we did this kickoff, and everybody was like, "Man, you guys are dope, man. You know, like you guys should do something." So we went into the studio and we just finished 8-song, all original EP, and we're actually tracking tomorrow night. We start laying it down tomorrow night. So
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Are you playing guitar?
Playing guitar, DJing, sampling, and then Chris is an amazing musician. Music theory is through the roof.
Where's that thing with the harmonica right here?
Nice.
And, it goes
yeah.
like that, and it goes like that.
Oh, he's
Exactly.
got the whole joint.
No,
Oh,
But he could do it if he needed to.
I want you
He
to
could
do
do it
that.
if he needed to.
he's one of those guys. I know one of those
He's
guys.
one of those guys.
Yeah.
He just picks up any instrument, and
Yep,
just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been fun. To be honest with you, like I wasn't having fun writing music in Ableton. Like I'm a monster in Ableton, but just the way my brain works, I don't want to sit there and just press a button or be on a key. So I ended up picking up a Martin guitar, and this thing just sings. And I didn't realize that I could play guitar that well until I got a really nice, which makes sense. You know, you got techniques, or you got CDJs, are gonna nicer than a cheap controller. So having fun writing music again, man. It's I needed it. I needed to be
That's dope.
creative again. So yeah,
That's sick.
hell yeah.
And you have any idea when the project's going to drop?
We'll probably take a month or so. I mean, Chris is an amazing engineer as well. And so, you know, we'll probably lay down all the stuff and then we'll send it back and forth. And, you know, I might have some session guys come in and lay keys or something like that. But we write amazing, super fast. So, I mean, to have eight original songs in like just a couple weeks is crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's nuts. All right, Sancho's.
Sancho
Dropping on-
at Sancho's Band on Instagram.
Okay, Sancho's Band on Instagram. And when it comes out, it's going to be on Spotify, Apple, all the streaming
Yeah.
joints, all that.
Yep. We're gonna get it out and do all kinds of crazy shit. And we already got some offers to come play some festivals. And
Hell yeah.
we're just, you know, everyone's, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? Like, listen, we'll do it when we want to do it, because this is finally something that we're passionate about, and we're not gonna let, you know, commerce come in the way of this. This is our release from commerce and everything else we're doing. So
Yeah, isn't that the toughest part, right? When you
It
find
is.
something you're passionate about and then you like try and go down that route, but then the money gets mixed in and all that, and it becomes another fucking
yeah, I mean,
gig or job or whatever the fuck.
I was just talking to my wife about this last night. She doesn't like, she's a great, amazing artist, and she doesn't like the finance part of it. I like a good fight. You know what I mean? I like to get in there and negotiate and like,
It is
you know,
there's something fun about that. For
yeah,
sure.
but it also sucks the air out of the room sometimes when you're, you know, a sensitive, creative type cat. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I feel that.
Oh, yeah.
I miss having like when me and Dolo were doing the strategy and Dolo show stuff. Any negotiation we went into, we fucking won because there was two of us.
Yeah.
It's tough to take out two, like, you know, just talking to someone and going back and forth one-on-one is whatever. But when there's two of them,
Yeah.
we always fucking won.
He's from Chicago too.
That too. But I think the two people is a little bit more,
Yeah.
it's harder to combat.
Yeah.
I've always
How's
been
he
a
doing?
one-man band.
He's doing great. He was just out here.
Oh shit, I missed him.
Yeah, you missed him. He wasn't here for long. Benny had him held hostage over in Arcadia, Biltmore, wherever he lives.
Yeah.
But he's great.
Damn, we're shitting on him. We're shitting on Cutswell today, or I'm not. You guys are shitting on him.
I do most of the time.
I just playing.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I'm
what's
just
in the, what's
teasing,
in the
man.
past is in the past.
I love Ben. Ben's one of those honest people. I don't have time to play around with people, and I like, you know,
Yeah.
he's always the guy that'll just chop through a conversation and be like, ah, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I respect that about him. But
He's one of my best friends. We're going to watch. I'm going to go to his crib tonight and watch Kill Tony with him, and it's
Nice.
yeah, hell yeah, great show.
gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe order a pizza or something.
There you go. That ain't a bad idea.
Hopefully it's cutting squares, my guy.
Do they got that out here? They got square cut out here.
Oh yeah,
All right.
Square
Spinatos,
pizza?
Spinatos, or Rosati's got it, but Spinatos is where it's at.
They got Rosati's out here.
Yeah,
They're everywhere, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Rosati's. Yeah.
yep, hell yeah,
Yeah,
All right.
Benny's one of those guys. He's held it down out here for years. You know.
yeah, man.
You know.
Should we end the pod always with saying one nice thing about Benny?
Do that.
I just did. I got to come up with another one.
No, you kicked it off.
I'm just kidding. Now I'm talking shit.
Trying to think of one.
You can't think of anything.
Dang.
No, I'm trying to think of something good. I can think of something. Go ahead, kick it off.
Benjamin, I've never called him that ever. Cuts, the first time I ever met him was in Chicago, and it was at Underground, and I was DJing, and he came up to the booth and was like, yo, dude, you sound fucking great. Like, he was doing his Cutswell thing where he was talking shit,
Yeah.
but also giving
He
me a
does like to talk
compliment.
shit.
He was talking shit. He was like, they don't deserve you here. You're better than this fucking place. You need to be in Vegas, like this and that. He was like talking shit, but also like complimenting me at the same time. And I was like, yo, thank you, bro.
You used to crush Chicago. I've said this on many a pod. This guy is one of my favorites.
I appreciate
One of my
that.
favorite DJs to listen to.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. But yeah, he came in and he was being nice and giving me compliments, and then we linked up, and I followed through and was like, yo, I'm gonna go out to Arizona. Is there anything you could do for me? And he fucking hooked me up, bro. He got me a gig at Cake. I was opening at Cake when Cake was fucking hot and like one of the spots to be at. And then something ended up happening with their headliner, and he canceled, or he couldn't get his flight, or whatever the fuck it was. So I ended up getting to do the whole night.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, that's like a fucking huge break for some nobody who's playing at this hot ass nightclub. Like, it was crazy.
That's dope.
And he did that for me.
That's dope.
So yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, like I said, Benny's an authentic dude. You know, I can always expect him to shoot me straight, and he's a motivated guy. He cuts well.
Whoa. There it is.
There you go. I think that was like 2 or 3 things, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would say that
this is like therapy. We're gonna have a round table right now.
No, but it's just his face is like what he's gonna say.
He set you up, bro.
Ben's always been a really like hospitable guy. Like it's funny. He'll always hit me up. Like I don't post on Twitter that much, but when I do, like if I like say something about whatever, he's the first guy to like text me and be like, I just saw your tweet, and then be like, yo, if you need anything, I got you. Like he's very hospitable.
Yeah.
You know, like as soon as he found out I was back in town, he was just like, yo, if you need anything, you let me know, like whatever. So Ben's always been a good he's always been a hospitable guy. But,
I love hanging out with you guys because you guys talk shit to each other and it's fun. Good friends talk shit to each other.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
I found out about you. I mean, I heard your name before, but I followed you the first time through your podcast with him on it. So, you know, I'd kind of watched a few episodes. So thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, bro. No, thank you guys for doing this. Thank you for the space, the equipment, everything, talking, the knowledge. I fucking really appreciate it. And like I said in the beginning, coming here and being welcomed with open arms by everybody, from the OGs to the fucking young kids on Mill who are booking spots that booked me out there. Like, everybody was so hospitable, and it's fucking inspiring. It makes me want to do the same for other people, and like,
amazing.
That's what DJing's about.
Bro, there's room for you out here.
Yeah, man.
I'll be back in January.
There we go. That's a long time from now.
No, I'm coming before that, but I'm definitely trying to keep the pressure on, like, coming for the winners.
Don't let off the gas, bro.
Yeah.
Never let off the gas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to.
If you have gas, please let off it.
Smoke it.
Exactly. We got that.
Should we wrap it?
Yeah, man.
Let's wrap.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment. Algorithm activating activity. Let's go, champ. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Well, alright. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told. Use a lie.